Biggest news of the decade, my favorite horror franchise of all time, Final Destination, has finally announced after 12 years that a new Final Destination movie is coming up. And that will be Final Destination 6, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Jungle of love. Welcome back to another video. As read by the title, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some predictions that I have that I believe that are going to happen in the new film, and that will be with a bingo card. So maybe some predictions will happen. What? Maybe some of them will not, maybe all of them, maybe none of them. But just before we start, I just want to say thank you to my friend Haunted Hippie because I got inspired to do this video thanks to her Halloween Ends predictions video. I will leave the link up here. Now, we don't know anything about this film. We just know that it has been announced. We don't know the plot. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know which actors and actresses are gonna be there. We don't know anything, zero. The only thing that we know at the moment is that the director from Clown 2014 and Spider-Man No Way Home from 2021, John Watts, will be producing this film. And also we know that one of the writers from the original film will be also writing this film with one of the writers from Scream 2021. So you do with that what you will do, so that gives me a little bit of hope. And also, just quickly before we start, remember that these are my predictions. These will have major spoilers for all of the films. So let's start with prediction number 1, and this is gonna be quite simple, and it's that the name of the new film will not be Final Destination 6. I think it's just gonna be Final Destination, because it's not a secret that new movies that are coming out from like old franchises, they are just with the same name. For example, Scream 2021 is just Scream. Halloween from 2018 was just Halloween. I believe this new film will just be Final Destination. Now, the second prediction, I believe the premonition, like the opening scene from this film, will be in a train station. And I know Final Destination 3 gave us a teaser of what that could be on a train because of the end of that movie, but that was just in a random underground on New York, so it was nothing too special. I want this to be in a proper big train station with national and international departures. So for example, here in London it will be train stations like Waterloo, King Cross, Paddington, you know, those big train stations, if that makes sense. And I think this will be such a good idea because obviously it's not a secret that train stations are used all the time, they're always super busy, and that's one of the things about the premonitions from this film, because there are common activities that we do. And I think it will be a nice landscape to interact with different characters. For example, people taking the train, maybe the driver, and other passengers, people working at the station, random passengers walking around, you know. Which brings me to my next prediction, and I think is that I think the premonition and the opening scene, it can also happen on a boat. Now, I think this hasn't been done in this franchise at all. They even haven't touched like the sea or the ocean and stuff. So I think this will be something new for this franchise, if that makes sense. I don't know if they will have the budget to do this, because obviously I think that will be very expensive, but they might do it because again, the director and producer from Spider-Man No Way Home is gonna be producing this, so that gives us hope for a bigger budget, if that makes sense. Now, the next predictions, they are very juicy, and you will know why. And the next prediction that I have is that I think in this new film we will follow the leads from Final Destination 2, Kimberly and the police officer, because they survived the second film. Even though I believe they were announced that they died in Final Destination 3 or 4, I don't remember exactly, like on a newspaper. But obviously we never saw it, and they didn't even show the pictures and stuff. So why not following these two characters? Like, they've been through this, they survived, and maybe they will be a couple. And the actress that plays Kimberly, she's quite active, and I know she ended her Criminal Minds series, so maybe she will have more time. She loved this character. Now, another prediction that I have is that I believe the movie will take place in between in any of the 5 films, if that makes sense. Or let's say the film will take place after Final Destination 3 and they will forget about Final Destination 4 and 5. Maybe the film will take place after Final Destination 2 and they will forget about 3, 4 and 5. Now, my next prediction is one of my biggest predictions from this video and one of my favorites. and I know many people will be agreeing with me, and it's that I think we are gonna follow, and the lead will be Alex from Final Destination 1. And another prediction, and we're gonna talk between them, is that this film will be a direct sequel to Final Destination 1, 23 years after, if that makes sense. Now, why do I say that Alex might come up on this film? Is because if this movie is gonna be a direct sequel, obviously what happens in Final Destination 2 didn't happen. So obviously Alex will be alive because he survived in Final Destination 1. Also, we know that Devon Sawa, I believe is the name of the actor, he is active right now, and he has said that he would love to participate in another Final Destination film. He was supposed to come up in Final Destination 2, but they were not paying him correctly. But obviously right now he's an adult, so it will make sense if the film takes place 23 years after. And I don't know, they might come up with an agreement. Now, the next prediction, and I'm so excited to talk about this prediction, is that, and it's related with the early one, and it's that we will follow Wendy and Alex. Yes, I know. Like I say, these movies are not connected, so we could easily follow Alex from Final Destination 1 and Wendy from Final Destination 3. Again, like I said before, we never saw Wendy dying. Yes, we can hear the crashes and stuff, but we never saw her body. So, and she was never mentioned in Final Destination 4. So why not? Elizabeth is an active actress at the moment, and she loves Wendy. Like, Elizabeth had said that she loves this character, so I could see this happening. Like, why not? And it would be so sick to follow Alex and Wendy together. That would be such a multiverse of madness, if that makes sense. Which brings me to another prediction, and it's that we will follow two people having premonitions at the same time. We haven't seen this before in a Final Destination film. We have only seen one person with the premonitions. We almost did that with Final Destination 5 because we know that film is a prequel to this whole franchise, but that didn't happen. So I don't see an issue with two people at the same time. That will be so sick. Which brings me to another point, another prediction, and this prediction will be that the premonitions, the two people will be in different countries. One in America and the other person could be in Europe, in another country, if that makes sense. And we could follow, like, the movie will be in between those two places, if that makes sense. I think it will be so good. And maybe the other place could be Paris, because Paris is announced all the time. Now, this next prediction, let's say we follow a group of people and stuff. Maybe one of the deaths from one of those people could be at the dentist. We haven't seen this before in any of the films. We almost saw that in Final Destination 2 with this character, but that never happened. So nobody has died in this franchise in the dentist, and I think that could be so sick because obviously everyone hates going to the dentist. For example, Olivia's death in Final Destination 5 is horrible because it's about the eyes, opticians, and I hate going to the optician, and that scene made me hate it even more. Now, this next prediction is quite interesting, and I don't know if this could happen because I believe the actor is retired, but I think we will follow Tony Todd, and we will follow him as like the first case of this whole death as an entity, if that makes sense, because we know that Tony Todd is an important character in this franchise, especially in the first, second and fifth film. But we don't really know about him. So what about if we follow him now? What about if we follow him as he is right now? I don't think that could happen because obviously I think he retired from acting, but why not? Why not? I don't know, anything could happen in this franchise. The next prediction, and I really hope this happens, and is that we will follow a non-white person, because it's not a secret that this film, all of the leads from film 1 to film 5, all of them are white, all of them are Americans. So it's like, what about if we follow a non-white person? That could be different and that could be nice. I don't know, for example, Scream 5 decided to give us a non-white lead, which is Sam. Now, going back to one of the predictions that I did before, what about we'll follow Wendy, Alex, and Kimberly from Final Destination 1, 2, and 3, and this could be like the film after the first trilogy, if that makes sense, with the first 3 survivors, if that makes sense, because obviously they didn't die, if that makes sense. In this new film they will never die. So what about if we follow them? So that will be so amazing. That
What?
I think they will be one of the first films in horror that follows 3 survivors at the same time. I mean, now the next 2 predictions, this could happen, this could really happen, and is that Anna Taylor will be the lead. Anna Taylor will be the protagonist from the new film. Why not? This actress is very active at the moment, and maybe she will have some space to make this film. Which brings me to the next prediction, will be, what about if we follow Andrew Garfield from Spider-Man No Way Home? Again, the producer from that film is doing this, so maybe he could contact Andrew Garfield. So why not? What if we follow him? What if he's the new lead, you know? Now, my next prediction is, this is something that has never been done before in this franchise, because in the first film would follow a group of students, in the second film would follow adults that they don't know each other, they were just happened to be in the same road. In the third film would follow again students, so like group of friends. In the fourth film would follow a group of friends, like a close friends, and individual people from the audience that didn't know each other. And in the fifth film would follow colleagues from the same company. But what about if in the new film we follow a family? That will be so good. And what about if this family is taking the train, or if it's taking the boat, like I said in the first 2 predictions? Now, the next prediction, and this could happen because again, this has never been done before in this franchise. And what about if the whole movie is the premonition, if that makes sense? So what about if it's extended, you know, because for example, recently I watched The Bullet Train, and the whole movie happens in the bullet train, you know, it's a 1 location film. Now, the next prediction will be also about the premonition. So what about if the premonition is about the world ending, you know? So for example, what about if our character has this premonition about, I don't know, a big disaster going on in the world, where the world will be destroyed, it's the end of the world. It's not about like a train accident, boat accident, or like. Which brings me to the next prediction, and is that this film will be a disaster movie, end of the world movie. So what about if the premonition is the world ending? So the movie will be about a disaster film. So for example, what the character is trying to prevent is, I don't know, maybe like talking to the government, or like what about if the world is ending, but while that's happening this character is trying to save people around them, like friends, family, or whatever, because the world is ending. So it's not like death will come to every single survivor, it's just death will come no matter what happens. But now the next prediction is that maybe in this new film we will see death more as an entity, like we did in Final Destination 1. So do you remember the scene in the bathroom, like the first death scene, and that we see the water going to this guy's legs and feet, and after he dies the water leaves the room, if that makes sense? That was like a portrait of death as an entity. So what about if we see more of that in this new film? And the last prediction that I have for this video is, what about if the lead and the person that has the premonitions is a kid, and nobody believes this kid, because obviously they will be crazy to think about that a kid is having these dreams and these premonitions. So what about if, for example, an actress like McKenna Grace is the lead from this film because she's a kid, or for example Talita Bettman, which is from Annabelle Creation, or what about Julian Hilliard, the kid from The Conjuring 3, The Haunting of Hill House, or what about Kylie Curran, you know, the girl from Doctor Sleep? So what is like, we only have seen adults having this premonition, so why not if a kid have them, you know? So that's it. Those are the predictions that I have for Final Destination 6. I don't know if they will ever happen. Maybe none of them will happen, maybe all of them. If none of them happen, that will be a disappointment, but this video was just for fun and to see if this could happen. If you have predictions, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.